Before we begin, take a breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Now, let me ask you something. Where in the world are you tonight? And what time is it where you are? Write it down in the comments. I'd love to know where our dreamers are listening from. Where in the endless map of Earth your heartbeat is echoing right now. It is the year 2400. The air is different. Not because of smoke or plague or the smell of horse-drawn carts, but because of what hums inside your head. A small implant, no larger than a seed, buried beneath your skull, fused with your neurons, woven into the very fabric of your thoughts. It doesn't just let you remember, it records, it catalogs, it plays back. And when you allow it, it rewrites. You wake in a city that never forgets. Here, memories are not fragile things that slip away in the night. They are commodities, files, currencies of their own. You are one of the millions who live with a memory implant. Every thought you have, every moment you live, every glance, touch, or fleeting idea, all of it is etched into the crystalline lattice inside your skull. And tonight, in this journey, you will walk through a single day in the year 2400. You will see the wonders, the fears, the quiet joys, and the deep, unsettling questions that come with a life where forgetting is no longer natural. This is not a tale of war, not a tale of kings, not even a tale of technology. This is the story of you. Your life, your memories, and what it means to own or lose them. The city of glass. The city around you rises like crystal, towers curve like frozen lightning, windows shimmer with information, memories projected in translucent light, for sale, for sharing, for trade. You walk through streets that hum with whispers, not voices carried on the air, but data streaming between implants. A silent chorus layered over reality. Someone brushes past you, and in that brief contact, your implant offers you a choice. Do you want to see what they saw today? Do you want to hear what they heard? Do you want to carry their joy or their grief? You decline, at least for now. The city is already too loud inside your head. But not everyone resists. Around you, people pause mid-stride, eyes glazed over. They're not here anymore, not in the street, not in their bodies. They are elsewhere, lost inside a borrowed memory. Tasting a meal they never ate, feeling a love they never had, reliving someone else's brightest hour. They told you the implant would make life easier. No more forgetting anniversaries, no more lost keys, no more missed names, no more fading faces of those you love. A perfect record, a flawless archive. And yet, perfection has a weight. Because to remember anything, to remember everything, means you cannot forget. Not the warmth of a lover's hand, but not the sting of their betrayal either. Not the laughter of childhood, but not the scream of grief in the night. Your life in 2400 is not just one life. It is every life you have ever touched. Every sight, every word, every silence. A library of selves, stacked floor upon floor, all contained within your skull. And so the question follows you everywhere, whispering like static between your thoughts. If your memories are no longer just yours, if they can be shared, sold, edited, erased, then what truly is you? The implants were built to help, to heal, to preserve. But what they preserve may not be your soul, and what they heal may not erase what made you human. This is not a simple story. This is not a tale with answers. This is a journey into a day in your life, a life stitched together by wires and memories, by whispers and downloads, by things you remember and things you don't. So settle in. The night is long. The mind is deeper than you think. Tonight, you will step into the year 2400. Tonight, you will remember what has not happened yet. This is life with memory implants. This is dreams of tomorrow. You wake to a sound you do not expect. Not an alarm, not the ringing of bells, nor the crow or roosters, not even the shrill digital chimes of the old centuries. Instead, it is a whisper. Your own whisper, a memory replayed directly into your mind, cued by the implant beneath your skull. It says, "Remember who you are." And then, like a tide flooding in, the rest comes rushing back. You remember your name. You remember the taste of last night's meal. You remember a childhood sunrise from a field that may or may not have ever existed. Because in the year 2400, not every memory you carry is yours. Some you lived, some you bought. The ceiling above you is not plaster or wood. It is a panel of living glass, alive with shifting light. Your implant projects fragments of stored memory into it, like constellations painted across a dome. You rise from your sleeping pod, and the glass clears. Beyond it, the skyline stretches, crystalline towers rising like frozen waves. Glowing veins of circuitry wrapping their surfaces like vines. The city hums, alive, pushing and pulsing with data. Here, forgetting is a choice, a luxury even. For every memory, no matter how faint, can be summoned back into clarity. Birthdays, lovers' faces, the exact smell of rain on stone from 200 mornings ago. The implant never sleeps. It never loses. It never forgives. You walk into the streets. They shine like mirrors. Above every passerby, faint glimmers hang in the air. These are not stars. They are memory projections. Shimmering echoes of moments people have chosen to share publicly. A woman passes you, her implant broadcasting the memory of her child's first words. You hear a tiny voice whisper, "Mama." The sound isn't in the air, it's in your mind, placed there by implant's silent transmission. A man in a silver coat walks by, his memory feed displaying the sensation of diving into Europa's frozen oceans. You feel the shock of cold, the press of alien water, the strange pull of distant moons. For a moment, you stagger. Your body remembers something it never lived. You make your way to the memory exchange. It's not a marketplace in the old sense. No stalls with apples and fish. No merchants crying out their wares. Instead, it is a vast hall of silence. Glass pillars rise from the ground like frozen waterfalls. Each pillar is filled with floating motes of light, memories waiting to be bought, sold, or traded. You walk among them. A mote glows faintly green. You brush your implant against it. Instantly, you are somewhere else. A jungle canopy, rain dripping from leaves, the smell of orchids and rot. It is not a recording, it is the memory itself. You feel the sweat on your neck, the ache in your calves from climbing, the sense of wonder when you looked out and saw endless trees stretching to the horizon. And then, just as quickly, you return back in the glass hall, your own breath in your chest. The memory is gone again unless you choose to buy it. A man in a velvet jacket smiles at you. "First time?" he asks. You nod. He gestures at the lights around him. Every moment is for sale here. Weddings, wars, sunsets, heartbreaks. Some people sell their happiest days, others their darkest nights. Some sell memories they'd rather forget, others sell experience they'll never have again. You ask him what he buys. He smiles. "Things that I could never live myself. I've died 3 times already. Once in a fire, once in a duel, once in childbirth. All memories I purchased. Pain is cheaper than joy, you see. And sometimes pain is more real." You leave him standing in the light of his own borrowed guts. And you wonder what it means to live so many lives. The economics of memory. In 2400, memories are not private, they are property. The poor sell theirs to survive. The wealthy collect them like jewels. An afternoon with your grandmother, laughing in a kitchen of wood and warmth. Worth a month's food credit. The memory of a wedding night, or a first kiss worth a year's rent in the towers. And rarest of all, memories of exploration. The first footfall on a distant moon, the view of Saturn's rings from an orbiting station, the terror of stepping into the void without data. These are priceless, auctioned off to the highest bidder. In the memory market, human experience itself is currency. As you wander, what light calls to you? It glows faintly gold, warm, alive. You reach for it. A rush of sensation floods you. Laughter, warmth, the smell of firewood, the taste of spiced bread. A memory of a feast. A family gathered around a long table. Hands joined, eyes bright. But then you realize this is not your family, not your hands, not your life. When you pull away, the ache is unbearable. Your implant whispers, "Would you like to purchase this memory? Would you like to keep it forever?" You hesitate. If you take it, you will carry a joy that was never yours. If you leave it, you will carry the loss of not having it. What is worse, to own a false joy or to remain empty? You turn and look at the people around you. Some are laughing with memories not their own. Some are weeping with tears they never earned. Some stand still, eyes vacant, lost in endless loops of replayed moments. A boy of no more than 12 relives his father's war medals being pinned, but the memory flickers. It was not his father's chest, not his family, just something bought and borrowed. An old woman sits with dozens of motes floating around her head. Her implant flashes too quickly. She is cycling through memories like a gambler through cards. Her hands shake with addiction. In this world, experience is endless, but meaning is fragile. And in the center of it all, you stand with your own memories humming behind your eyes. Which ones are really yours? Which ones have been stitched in? And would you even know the difference? This is your morning in the year 2400, a marketplace of memory glowing like a cathedral of light. Every joy and every sorrow waiting to be bought. And this is only the beginning, because today you will move through an entire day in this future, and you will discover what it truly means to live in a world where forgetting is no longer allowed. Your implant hums again, a soft vibration almost like a heartbeat. It's reminding you of something, or maybe it's planting something in place of memory. You can't always tell anymore. This morning, as you walk past the floating glass towers, a memory flickers in your mind. A childhood birthday, candles glowing on a cake, your small hands clapping, frosting smudged on your cheek. A song, soft, warm, sung off key by a voice you can't quite place. You smile, and then you pause because you've never had a birthday like that. Your real childhood was different, sparse, hollow. You remember grey walls, ration cards, the quiet hum of the learning pods. You remember sitting in front of a screen, a tutor's voice in your head, feeding you equations and history lessons. But this new memory feels warmer, fuller, more alive. Your implant tells you it is a gifted memory, donated, catalogued, transferred into your neural lattice when you were 16. A charity package, they called it, for those whose childhoods were too fractured, too thin, too empty. They gave you borrowed joy, a past you never lived. In the year 2400, everyone receives their first implant at the age of 16. It is a rite of passage, a ritual as sacred as baptism, as celebrated as marriage. You remember standing in a glass amphitheater, hundreds of other teenagers around you, all waiting. The air shimmered with nervous energy. A voice from the sky, the overseer, or perhaps just an algorithm, read your names. One by one, you were called forward. One by one, you lay down in the white chair, and the surgeons slipped silver threads into your skull. You felt the moment the implant connected. It wasn't pain, it was recognition, as if something invisible had always been missing, and now it was restored. The hum began that day, and it never left. Part of the rite was the gift. Not every child in 2400 grows up with parents. Not every child grows up with safety. Some are born into the orbiting colonies, others into flooded coastlines, others into glass cities where the sun rarely touches the street. So, on the day of your implantation, you were given a gift, a memory of childhood, not your own, but one purchased, archived, and polished. Some received the memory of a summer field, some a family dinner, some a birthday they never had. It is meant to anchor you, to give you something to look back on, to keep you from drowning in absence. But for you, it raised a question. If your childhood can be bought, what is left of you? You close your eyes and you can hear laughter again. Not just sound, but the way it felt in your chest. The warmth of belonging, the joy of being loved. You replay it 3 times. Each time it feels more real. Each time you forget a little more. That it never happened. Your implant hums, weaving the memory deeper, making it part of who you are. And yet, a whisper of doubt lingers. If you believe it, if it shapes you, does it matter if it isn't yours? Some never accept their gifted childhoods. They treat them like clothing, borrowed, tried on, discarded. Others build their whole identity around them. There are those who collect childhoods, children of war buying memories of peace, children of poverty buying memories of feasts, children of isolation buying memories of warm embraces. A new economy has formed, the market of origins. Here families trade away their happiest memories to feed their living children. A mother sells her son's first steps, and somewhere another child downloads it and remembers it as their own. A boy grows up believing he once toddled across a sunlit courtyard, his father's arms open wide. But that father was never his. You sit in your chamber that night, your implant humming with the weight of all it carries. You try to remember your first word. Is it the one in the archive, or the one you really spoke in the grey learning pod? You try to picture your mother's face, but it shifts. Sometimes warm, smiling, sometimes cold, distant. Which is true? The implant doesn't know. It only plays back what you feed it. And you're left with a puzzle made of memories. Pieces borrowed, pieces stolen, pieces fading. Are you still the sum of your own days, or a patchwork of other people's? Some nights you feel it more strongly, a tug, a pulse, like a hidden hand guiding your thoughts. The implant whispers, "You are whole, you are complete, you are safe." But it feels rehearsed, too perfect, too clean. Your real childhood was not like that. It was hunger and silence and long hours staring at screens. This new memory, the one with the cake, the candles, the laughter, is beautiful, but it feels like a mask laid over scars. And you wonder, is that what the future has become? A world where masks are sold and worn inside the mind? This is the childhood you carry in 2400. A past both real and unreal. A memory both lived and purchased. And as you drift deeper into this day, you begin to wonder, if we can buy a childhood, if we can buy another's past like a costume, then where does memory end? And where do you begin? You turned 16 beneath a ceiling of light. Not candles, not stars. Hollow constellations, your cohorts' names, stitched into the dark like a promise. Each point to a brain about to become a library. They call it the Hall of Becoming. A stadium of quiet breath and nervous hands. Tiers of families curling upward like terraces, carved into stone. Down on the floor, the white chairs, reclining spines and articulated arms, waited in a double crescent, facing an altar of glass, where an outline of the human brain pulsed in soft blues. You wore a simple tunic with your name woven at the collar in thin thread. First clothing you'd ever owned that was meant to be remembered. There were speeches, there were always speeches. A dignitary spoke about progress, about the end of amnesia, and the triumph of accountability. An ethicist spoke about consent that must be renewed, not given once and forgotten. A midwife, not of children, but of minds, spoke about gentleness, that memory should be a home, not a cage. None of it slowed your heartbeat. Before the chair, there was the paper. No longer paper, of course. A contract hovering above your palm like a dusk of rain. It asked for your lineage, your allergies, your preferred recall threshold, strong, moderate, soft. Your emergency preferences. If I lose myself, who brings me back? Your default for public share. Private by default. Consent per instance. It asked whether your memories could be used to train communal models for disaster response, for language preservation, for art. It asked whether your body, if you died, could serve as an organ of remembrance, anonymized memory tissues preserved for the archives. You ticked boxes. You read what you could, you told yourself you understood. A guardian placed a hand on your shoulder and said, "You can change these later." The sentence tasted like mercy and sounded like a loophole. When your name was called, the chair greeted you, not with words, but with temperature, warmth, pluming across the headrest, palms cooling, the faintest scent of pine to calm your pulse. It adjusted its angle to match your spine. The ceiling dimmed. A clinician leaned close, their voice tuned to the frequency that makes mammals trust. You will feel pressure, not pain. Focus on the anchor, a memory you want to keep closest. You choose the sound of rain on metal roofs, thin, persistent, almost kind. The chair whispered back a hum in the same rhythm, sinking your breath to something older than speech. Silver threads unfolded like spider silk. They did not pierce so much as ask permission. The skin behind your ear parted as if remembering it had once been Joe. First, silence. Second, light behind the eyes. Not seen, but known. Third, the sense of a polite guest stepping into a house and removing their shoes. A dust pattern rolled through you. Color, pitch, touch, scent. The implant learning the contour of you. It mapped your hippocampus like a careful cartographer, avoided old scar tissue you did not know you had, laid its filaments along your white matter like strings tuned to an instrument. Then came the calibration memories. The chair asked for 5. You offered them like seeds. A tin cup of cold water on a blistering day. The hiss of a train you once watched but never boarded. The smell of wet dust when this first monsoon broke. A hand you held in the dark and the moment you let go. A page of text you recited as a child until the words fell open. The implant tasted each one, noted their intensities, learned how your joy spikes, how your sorrow lingers, how your fear sneaks sideways. Not judgment, measurement. It is faint, the first ping. A hello felt as a pebble dropped into a still pool. Concentric rings moved outward, and with them a menu of permission. Local record on, public broadcast off, auto recall cues, manual until reviewed. Dream integration delayed until guardianship signs. You agreed mostly. You delayed more. You told yourself you would set it all up later, like a responsible person with a tidy mind. The clinician lifted 2 fingers. Follow. Your eyes tracked. Name the scents. Orange, diesel, rain. Name the notes. A, then E, then the high chime you only learned later is used to signal a go right. Your skull did not hurt. Your identity did. The world had always been a room. Now it revealed the hidden hallway. Rites survive because they are good at making humans feel held. Someone pressed a small charm into your palm as you stood. A copper coil wound around a bead of glass. A loop for when thoughts are straight lines. Not useful, not necessary, perhaps not even approved, but you kept it. An elder, the same one who fixed broken learning pots without tools, touched your forehead in the old way and said, "May your remembering never drown your living." And there was a bell, low, generous, not to summon the next child, but to mark the widening of a self. Bells do that. They make space for new rooms in a house you thought was done. You stepped outside and discovered you now cast 2 shadows. 1. The ordinary geometry of sun and body. 2. The overlay, the ghostly sheen of metadata drifting where you look. A parent's face floated with a little lock icon and a line of tiny text. Shared with you by consent, expiring in 24 hours. The river at the edge of the city glittered with a palimpsest of archived floods. If you blinked twice, the water showed you where it would reach if the levees failed. You learned the subtle tricks. Look long to anchor, glance quick to avoid recording, read twice to pause, breathe thrice to bookmark. Say now in your head and the system wrapped 10 seconds before and after because memory loves context. On the second day, Someone showed you filters. It's not lying, they said. It's lensing. So you tried them. Soothe, soften the edge of past humiliations. Let you watch without bracing your ribs for impact. Distance, pull the camera back on a grief you could not bear to hold. Light, marketed under another name, promised to detect edits in memories you were shown by others. Its little blue halo flickering when a scene was stitched. You told yourself you would use them rarely, only when necessary, like umbrellas in a desert. The future has a way of making umbrellas into roofs. The first side effect. The first side effect was not pain, it was echo. You laughed at a joke and then heard your laugh in a beat later, the implant confirming it had captured the moment cleanly. You reached for a cup and saw half a heartbeat ahead, your own hand reaching. The motion path predicted, then matched, then stamped with a green check. Synchronized. Most echoes quiet after a week as your brain and the device agree on time. But a few linger. You learn to find them enduring, like a friend who repeats your last word just to prove they are listening. Among the first lessons, hygiene of recall. A teacher who wore no implant by choice, their scalp unscarred, their eyes unnetted, spoke gently about forgetting as a human skill, not a defect. We prune to grow, they said, and showed you trees cut back after storm damage, flowering stronger in the spring. You practiced, choosing not to replay a minor insult, refusing to rewatch a small triumph, letting the day pass without trapping it in ember. The room was quiet, everyone concentrating on not concentrating. You failed. Then you failed better. Some days you succeeded, and the success felt like sleep after a long vigil. On the seventh day, the implant pinged a storage notice. Your default tire allows 5 lifetimes at your current rate of recording. The sentence made your bones feel hollow. Somewhere, a server farm promised to cradle your days long after your days were done. Somewhere, an insurance policy would pay for cold stacks of your summers. You imagined your memories without you, humming in the dark, rented to strangers for research or solace or thrill. The thought felt noble and obscene at once. Every rite needs a vow. No one asked you for one. Still, you made it. In a small room under an ordinary window, you pressed your palm to your chest and said aloud, because the body remembers differently when the air vibrates. I will not replay the worst thing that happened to me more than 3 times in one sitting. I will not sand the edges of every joy until it is safe and therefore dull. I will ask permission before I enter someone else's sacred days. I will use the archive to become more human, not less. The implant did not record the wow. You told it not to. Some things are stronger when held only in muscle and breath. This is how you entered the wired sanctuary. Not as a machine, not as a file, but as a person with a second spine, one made of light. And even now, years later, you return to that day when the threads first touched you. And you learned that remembering is a craft. Tomorrow we'll test that craft. Because there are guardians of memory who claim to keep us safe, and markets that would sell you your own past by the gram. You think memory is yours, private, sacred, but in 2400, memory belongs to more than just you. There are institutions, guilds, orders. They call themselves archivists, and their task is both holy and mercantile: to guard the memories of billions, to decide what is preserved and what is erased. You enter the archive for the first time. It is not a library, not in the old sense. No shelves, no paper, no dust. Instead, an endless chamber of crystal towers, each one humming faintly, each one filled with luminous threads of memory. The air feels alive. Every step echoes with whispers. Every glance brings flashes of other lives. A soldier's fear before battle, a mother's last breath in childbirth, a child's laughter chasing fireflies. All of it stored here, a cathedral of human experience. Archivists wear no crowns, no armor. Their uniform is silence. They walk among the towers in long coats lined with silver threads, each thread connected to an implant at their temple. When they stop, their memories pause. When they breathe, the currents of light shift. To the outside world, archivists are both trusted and feared. They decide whose memories are valuable. They regulate what can be bought and sold. And when ordered by the state, they redact, cutting out entire lives as if they never happened. You learn quickly that not all memories weigh the same. A mundane breakfast is worth little. A soldier's death on the battlefield, priceless. A scientist's flash of discovery, stored under lock. A tyrant's secrets, archived but hidden. The archivists classify everything. Common memories, open market, free to trade. Restricted memories, licensed, available only for research or law. Sacred memories, locked in vault, accessible only with council approval. You wonder, who decides what is sacred? What if your happiest day is sold as trivial, while your darkest hour is deemed priceless? Some call the archive a church. You step into a booth of frosted glass, sit in silence. The walls bloom with light. Your own memories called up from your implant. Childhood laughter, first love, first betrayal, A soft voice asks, "Which will you donate today?" It is not mandatory, but refusing feels like withholding alms from the poor. You choose carefully. You give them one small joy, a memory of sunlight on your skin as you lay in grass. The archivist nods. The thread floats away into the towers. And though it was only a small moment, you feel the absence immediately. The archive does not just collect, it consumes. Not everyone trusts the archivists, whispers spread, that they rewrite history not to preserve truth, but to control it. That dissenters vanish, not in body, but in memory. No one recalls their speeches, no one recalls their names. Only vague impressions remain, like a dream dissolving at dawn. Some say the archivists can plant false memories, so convincing that you'd swear you lived them. A rebellion you never joined, a crime you never committed, a love you never felt. Proof is scarce. But in a world where memory is evidence, the absence of proof is itself terrifying. You watch a scene unfold in the archive's market wing. A man, trembling, places his hand on the interface. His memories project around him. A car crash, a hospital room, a final goodbye. He offers them up for sale. The buyer is a woman in a silver mask. She pays handsomely. Why? Because in 2400, even grief has value. Some purchase it for art, others for empathy training, others simply to feel something raw, something they themselves cannot conjure anymore. The man leaves lighter, but also emptier. His grief is gone, but so is the face of the person he lost. You return home, and for the first time, you sense the archive inside yourself. Your implant is not just a recorder, it is a gate. At any moment, you could upload your days, donate them to towers, erase them from your mind. The choice is yours, but also not yours. Because society watches, the archive expects, and silence in a world that never forgets is its own kind of crime. This is the world of archivists, a world where memory is not just personal, but political. Not just a gift, but a weapon. And you? You must decide what you keep close and what you give away. Because in 2400, your past is never truly yours alone. Love replayed. Love has always been fragile, a spark between two souls, nourished by trust, endangered by time. But in the year 2400, love is not just felt, it is stored, played, edited, sold. The first kiss, you remember it vividly, not just the taste, not just the warmth of lips, but the surge of hormones, the exact tremor of your pulse, the way the street lamp flickered above your head. Your implant replays it at will, every detail, every microsecond. You lie in bed some nights, looping it again and again. The kiss never fades, never loses its intensity. Unlike the old centuries, love here does not wither with time. It calcifies, it becomes permanent, like amber trapping an insect forever mid-flight. Your partner offers you something one evening. Not flowers, not jewels, but a memory. Take it, they whisper, and your implants sink. Suddenly, you feel their first moment of attraction. The glance they stole when you weren't looking. The private thrill of hearing your laugh for the first time. The warmth that bloomed in their chest when you touched their hand. You feel it all, not imagine, but as if you lived it yourself. It is the purest form of proof. Look, the memory says, I loved you from the beginning. And yet, doubt creeps in like fog. Because if love can be proven, it can also be forged. What if the memory was edited? What if they made it brighter, cleaner, sweeter than it was? Would you ever know? And worse, does it matter? If the memory feels true, if it fills your heart with warmth, is it love or performance? Arguments change too. In older times, lovers quarreled about what was said, who remembered correctly. But now, you can replay every word, every tone, every look. You replay the fight about leaving the lights on, the dinner ruined by silence, the night they said something cruel. You both insist you won, but the implant shows otherwise. The truth is undeniable, the memory is evidence. And so you learn to be in love in 2400 is to live with an eternal jury in your head. Some become addicts. They replay the good moments endlessly. The kiss, the laughter, the warmth of bodies entangled under rain. They live more in memory than in the present. Their partners grow restless, feeling unseen because the addict is no longer here. They are trapped in yesterday's perfection. Others become addicted to heartbreak. They loop the breakup, the last words, the moment the door closed. They press the wound until it bleeds. Because pain too feels like proof of being alive. You meet people who no longer chase love in the present. Instead, they buy it. They purchase memories of passion. A stranger's honeymoon, a stolen kiss in Paris, a first dance at a wedding under starlight. They wear these memories like jewelry, polished, flawless, never stained with compromise. Why risk rejection when you can rent perfection? And when you look in their eyes, you see something missing. Because secondhand passion cannot warm you when the night is cold. It cannot answer when you whisper a name. Couples in 2400 often build shared archives, a private vault of their lives together. Every trip, every touch, every laugh. They can walk through it like a museum of their love. Some find it beautiful, proof of permanence, a shield against forgetting. Others find it suffocating because in that museum, nothing can be left behind. Every mistake hangs in wall. Every betrayal waits in silence. Love, once fluid, becomes a ledger, and ledgers can be audited. You remember yours. It ended not with silence, but with a negotiation. Which memories would you keep? Which would you return? Which would you erase? The kiss at the festival? Yours. The night under the stars? Shared custody. The final fight? Deleted by mutual consent. But deletion is never perfect. Fragments linger, shadows remain. You wake weeks later, hearing laughter in the back of your mind, but you can't remember whose. And it haunts you more than if you'd kept the pain. This is love in 2400, a tapestry of moments woven too tightly to ever unravel. It is proof. It is prison. It is gift. It is curse. And as you drift deeper into this day, you begin to realize, in a world that never forgets, to love is to risk being replayed forever. In the old centuries, forgetting was a mercy, a slow natural fog that softened sharp edges and blurred the angles of pain. In 2400, fog is illegal in some districts. Clarity is compulsory. Mercy must be purchased. You wake to the sound of rain against the window. Not the rain of today, but the rain of 3 years ago. The implant has surfaced a relevant recollection. A sensory match. Precipitation, heart rate, variance, geotag proximity. It means well. It wants to be helpful. A ribbon of light unfurls across your inner vision. The day the message arrived. The day you didn't expect to be left. Your body braces before your mind does. The stomach drop. The throat tightness. Palms damp as if you were there again. Because you are. The recall is perfect. So is the pain. You try to lock it down, set a filter, postpone the replay, mark as unstable. But the world is a minefield now. Smells are triggers. Songs are triggers. A color that happens to match a scarf on a stranger, trigger. The implant is loyal. It mirrors your loyalty to the moments that broke you. The algorithm learns. Events with intense effect a priority for recall. It wants to keep you safe. It keeps you on the scene of the crash. There is an answer, everyone whispers. There is a door in the city where all the fog still lives. The sign over the door is modest. Mnemosyne & Co. Curated for getting ethical deletions, gentle edits. Inside, velvet silence. A receptionist who speaks as if your pain might startle and run. Forms that ask careful questions. Which memory hurts? Which parts matter? If you remove the sting, will the lesson remain? A counselor with eyes like water explains the tires. Soften, recolor the emotional palette, keep the facts. Mute, dim the sensory track, keep the outline. Seal, lock behind a constant gate you must choose to open. Erase, legal only with review, surgical, final, irreversible. You sign for a consultation. You sit in a chair that hums like a lullaby. The clinician does not ask you to tell the story. They ask you to feel the story. They light the thread and you're there. The room, the voice, the sentence that split your life into before and after. They mark the waveform where your breath stuttered. The second your pupils widened. The micro tremor in your left hand. Pain is cartography now. The implant draws a heat map of your heart. Are you sure? They ask. Because memory is more than a record. It is a scaffold. Pull one beam, the house may sigh. Pull two, it may lean. Pull three, it may learn to stand again, or it may remember how to fall. You think of who you are because of this wound, the boundaries you built, the poems you wrote in the dark, the friend you called at 3 a.m., the way you learned to leave. What if removing the thorn removes the rose? You choose seal. No erasure, no lobotomy of the soul, just a door, heavy and deliberate, with a key only you can turn. They lower the lights. A smell like petrichor and cedar washes the air. The clinician threads a silver halo around your implant port and whispers the ritual words. Anchor intact. Effect gated. Consent required. You lie there and feel the memory lift. Not like extraction, more like the careful transfer of a sleeping child from one room to another. When it's done, the room is larger. The future steps closer. You walk outside into the late afternoon. Same street, same rain. Different weather inside your head. If you reach for the memory, a gentle resistance meets you, like a palm on your chest. If you insist, free breaths, eyes closed. The door yields. You can still enter. You choose not to. For 2 days, the world is shockingly plain. Colors flatten. Food tastes like its ingredients. Your mind, bored of peace, reaches for familiar storms. On the third day, other memories crowd the stage, jealous of the sealed one's sudden quiet. Small humiliations volunteer. An old mistake clears its throat. Your implant, eager to please, surfaces adjacent experiences, like a librarian mistaking grief for genre. You realize the truth the clinics whisper only off the record. Memory is a hydra. Cut one head to argue about who will replace it. You promise yourself not to loop the good old tapes either. The perfect day, the perfect kiss, the sunlight on sheets, the way that ended. But at 1:47 a.m., discipline thins. You watch the light move on the wall of a life you no longer live. You pause on the smile you once thought would never leave. The implant offers enhancement. Would you like the sustain filter? It can stretch the dopamine arc, extend the glow 6, 10, 20 seconds longer. You decline. You're not a priest of nostalgia. You're only a pilgrim. You build rituals because rituals domesticate storms. Time boxing, you allow one replay, 1 minute, one time. Breadcrumbing, you annote pain with lessons. Tags like boundary, tell, leave. Somatic anchor, a pebble in your pocket. When it warms, you return to your breath. Recall Sabbath. One day, each week you switch recall to manual only. Live unrecorded. At first, you fail. Then you fail better. Then one evening, you realize you walked a whole hour without narrating it to your future self. Sometimes the device is not the jailer. You are. You learn about confab edge, the fuzzy border where your brain fills gaps with plausible fabric. The implant can certify authenticity of data, but not the stories you weave between the frames. You see the moment they turned away and invent the decade of reasons. You watch the second you stumbled and write a prophecy of never. Truth is a film. Meaning is the director's cut. The archive stores both. You must choose which one you screen. In the justice system of this century, memories can stand as testimony. But you discover the courtroom inside your chest is harsher than any judge. You prosecute yourself within exhibits. Exhibit A. Your words on the balcony. Exhibit B. The silence you didn't break. Exhibit C. The unread message. You forget that law was made for order, not for love. You forget that mercy is a legal technology too. What you keep. You make a list. What stays? The sound of your friend's laugh at the worst moment, the lifeline. The smell of hot bread in a kitchen you almost called home. The view from the fire escape the night you didn't jump. The sentence you wish someone had said, so you say to yourself now. What goes? The loop that teaches nothing new. The apology you've already made, already lived. The museum of small cruelties curated for private tours. You're not deleting your life. You are editing for kindness. One morning, the implant greets you with silence. No suggested replays, no anniversaries of sorrow. No on this day ambush. You make tea. You watch steam rise like a minor miracle. You memorize nothing on purpose. Later, in the elevator, a child hums a tune out of key. You smile. You let it pass through you like weather. And yet, whispers travel even in careful cities. They say there is a place below the transit lines where memory is truly free. No archivist keys, no consent gates, an unmarket, a night market for forgetting and forbidden recall. They call it the black name. There you can buy borrowed childhoods that feel better than yours. Erase a decade like a stain. Seed your past with alibis beautiful as constellations. It is illegal. It is crowded. You tell yourself you're only curious. You tell yourself you're only going to look. You put on a coat that doesn't remember you. You step into a train that erases its own route. The city tilts, and you begin to descend. Some prisons have no walls. Some freedoms are traps with better lighting. The memory black market. Every bright city has its shadow. Every archive, its forgotten bolt. And in the year 2400, beneath the glass towers that hum with light, there is a place the lost do not reach. They call it the Black Name, a market for forbidden memories, a bazaar of stolen pasts, a carnival of counterfeit selves. The train does not tell you its destination. No lamp, no timetable. Only the hum of the tracks, the flicker of broken lights, the feeling that you're descending deeper into the city's bones. Your implant flickers. No data feed, no public memories, just silence. The black name lives in the blind spots, the places the archivists cannot see. When the train doors open, you step into a tunnel lit by lamps made of scavenged glass. People move in shadows, faces blurred, implants dimmed. Some wear masks of old saints, others wear none, proud of their ruin. The air smells of smoke, sweat, and something sweeter, like honey rotting in the sun. Tables line the walls. On them, not fruit, not cloth, not metal, but motes. Each one glows with the light of a stolen memory. Not donated, not curated, stolen. You pass a merchant with a tray of war debts, each one bottled like wine. Feel the last heartbeat of a martyr, she whispers. Taste the iron in his throat, smell the fire on his skin. Another offers childhoods. We have laughter. We have lullabies. We have mothers who never leave. A third sells dreams, not memories at all, but hallucinations generated by corrupted implants. Nightmares you can buy, illusions you can wear. Here, everything is currency. Here, even you could be sold. You stop at a stall draped in crimson cloth. A woman lifts a crystal spear. Inside, the memory of a festival. Music, fireworks, dancers moving as if gravity itself were drunk. A mouthful of sugared fruit that bursts like sunlight. You hesitate. The merchant smiles. It's cheap, she says. Because it isn't mine, it was taken. You know what that means. It was stolen from someone who cannot afford to protect their archive. Perhaps a worker in the underlevels. Perhaps a child in a shelter. Perhaps a dying man who no longer notices what's been taken. Your implant hums, eager. It wants to taste it, to weave it into your past. Would you? Would you pay for joy that never belonged to you? The trade in forgetting. But the most valuable commodity of all is not joy, not knowledge, not even love. It is forgetting. At the black name, you can purchase oblivion. For a price, they will delete your worst moments. Not with the careful seals of the clinics, but with fire, with corruption, with total erasure. They will not warn you about structural collapse. They will not ask if you're sure. They will simply cut. And when it is done, you're lighter, hollow, unmoored. Because the wound is gone. But so is the scar that proved you survived it. The choice. You stand before a vendor now. In her hands, two motes. One glows golden, a stolen joy, the laughter of a child who never wept. The other is dark, a capsule of oblivion, a promise to erase your deepest wound forever. Your implant hums, urging you. You feel it pulling, hungry, ready to record, ready to rewrite. One path offers you happiness that isn't yours. The other offers peace without memory. Which do you choose? To carry joy that never belonged to you? Or to forget pain that shaped you? There is no safe answer, only a decision. This is the black market of memory, a place where the past is stolen, the future is sold, and the self becomes negotiable. And as you walk away, whether lighter, heavier, or hollow, you know the truth. In a world that never forgets, sometimes the most valuable thing you can buy is silence. The rebellion of forgetting. In a world that remembers everything, the most radical act is to let a day dissolve. It begins as a rumor, like all dangerous tenderness does. People who wear their hair in simple knots and keep their eyes soft. People who will not trade memories, not even for sympathy. People whose implants are tuned so low they feel like silence. They call themselves clean minds, not Puritans, not pilgrims, walking away from the cathedral of recall. They gather in a square at noon, under a sky scrubbed bright by wind. No banners, no chants, just a stillness that spreads like a new weather. Someone steps forward, touches two fingers to their temple and says, I revoke passive recall. I revoke auto summon. I revoke third party pull. I revoke the masterpiece. I keep my life as breath, not archive. This is not a vote, it is a vow. 20 others follow, then 50. By dusk, the crowd hums with unrecorded presence, a weight the city does not know how to measure. In every age, truth is fragile, but in 2400, when memory itself is evidence, truth becomes breakable as glass. The courtroom of recall. You stand in the hall of justice. No gavel, no jury, no paper, only projections. A wall blooms with light, your memories, called upon command. Each moment pinned like a butterfly, wings spread, struggling. The prosecutor points. On this day, at this time, you said these words. You want to argue context, tone, meaning. But context is not stored. Tone can be filtered. Meaning is malleable. What remains is raw footage, a prison dressed as truth. You once trusted memory as archive. Now, you learn it can be weaponized. A rival splices half a sentence, stitches it to another, creates a narrative that bleeds malice. The implant verifies each frame authentic. Because yes, each fragment is yours, but the arrangement is not. And yet, in the courtroom of 2400, arrangement is everything. Truth doesn't collapse in fire, it collapses in rearrangement. In edits so precise you can't untangle them. You're guilty of a story you never lived. You once thought your implant was personal, but the archive demands transparency. Governments call it civic duty. Corporations call it user optimization. Families call it love. One by one, walls fall. Private thoughts bleed into public record. The boundary between diary and evidence dissolves. And the worst part? You begin censoring yourself before you even live, choosing not to feel, because one day it might be replayed in court. You think this is safety, but it is slow death, a suicide of spontaneity. In this world, friendship shifts. Once you shared secrets, now you share access. Let me see what you meant. Prove you thought of me kindly. Show me your memory of last night. Even love corrodes. partners demand playback of fidelity. Children accuse parents with clips of forgotten cruelty. Families fracture under the weight of perfect evidence. Because certainty is not intimacy, and proof is not love. Amid collapse, a new guild rises, the skeptics of memory. They teach people to doubt even their own recall, to question every projection, every clip, every thread. They whisper, even if the memory feels true, ask, who benefits from this version? Skepticism becomes survival, doubt becomes faith, and in time, disbelief is the only way to remain sane. One morning, it happens. Two recordings of the same event surface, each verified, each authentic, two versions of reality. One shows a man committing a crime, the other shows him elsewhere, innocent. Both implants pass verification. Both are certified. The city fractures. Which is true? Which is false? Or worse, are both true? The archive calls it a synchronization anomaly. People call it the day truth died. After that day, the streets change. Conversations stall. Every smile is doubted. Every kindness is replayed until it frays. Children ask, Mama, how do I know you're my real mama? Friends ask, were we ever friends or did I just buy the memory? The archive insists stability, but beneath its polished glass, you hear the city cracking. A sound like ice breaking on a river, slow, inevitable, terrifying. In the midst of this collapse, you retreat inward. You find rituals to anchor yourself. A pebble you keep in your pocket, unsaid, unrecorded. A song you hum only in dumb rooms where memory cannot enter. A prayer refused to upload, spoken only in silence. These become your truths, not because they can be proven, but because they cannot. Certainty is gone. So you build something stronger, faith in the unrecorded. This is the collapse of certainty, the moment when memory, once salvation, becomes the battlefield of reality itself. And in this collapse, a question grows louder. If memory is no longer truth, what else can guide us? In every age, humans built walls. Walls for grain, walls for gold, walls for secrets. In 2400, the greatest wall of all is not built for wealth, but for memory. They call it the last archive, a cathedral of everything ever lived. You travel for days to reach it, not because of distance. Trains and trams cross continents in hours, but because of permissions. Only those invited may enter. Only those who have given more than they have taken. You walk the long glass causeway at dawn. The horizon bleeding pale light, ahead a monolith rises. It is not stone, not steel, not even glass. It is something new. a substance grown, not built, translucent, alive, humming. From afar, it looks like a mountain of frozen light. Up close, it feels like standing at the edge of a living brain. At the entrance, no guards stand, only a wall of shifting letters, billions of names, scrolling endlessly, each one glowing for a moment before fading to make room for another. When your name appears, the wall parts. You step through. Inside, silence. Not empty silence, but the silence of being seen too completely to require speech. The halls of lives. You wander halls that stretch beyond horizon, each one lined with threads of light. You brush your fingers against one, and suddenly you are in another life. A shepherd on a hillside, watching sheep scatter under a medieval sky. A pilot steering a shuttle through the rings of Saturn. A child eating honey for the first time. A soldier weeping in a trench. It is overwhelming. You stagger. Your implant hums like a drum under strain. The archive is not just data, it is presence. Each memory not shown, but lived. The curators. They appear without sound, robes of pale fiber, eyes glowing faint with data. Not archivists, not merchants, curators. They do not judge, they do not sell, they guide. One asks you quietly, "What do you seek?" You whisper, "Truth." They smile as though they've heard this answer before. Truth is too heavy. Seek something lighter. Understanding. The curator leads you to a chamber where memories twist. On one side, a man guilty of betrayal. On the other, the same man loyal to the end. Both versions play at once, overlapping like reflections in broken glass. Which is real? The curator asks. You cannot answer. They nod. The archive preserves contradictions. Because life is contradiction. To delete one is to lie. To keep both is to drown. So we keep both and teach you to swim. You walk further. The weight grows. 10 billion lives hum around you. Every laugh, every scream, every moment anyone ever lived, etched into light. It is too much. Your knees buckle. Your skull burns with other people's fire. A curator steadies you. Few last long here. Memory is not meant to be infinite. Even gods would collapse under such weight. You ask, then why build this place? They answer, because forgetting has become rebellion, and rebellion must be remembered too. Rumors whisper of disaster. If the archive fails, if its living brain fractures, entire histories could vanish in a blink. Wars erased, love stories undone, whole cultures dissolved into silence. Some say the archive is too vast, that it will one day collapse under its own weight. like a star turning into a black hole. Others believe collapse is its purpose, that humanity built it not to last forever, but to prove we tried. To leave behind one great act of remembrance before surrendering again to the mercy of forgetting. At last, they lead you to a quiet room. Here, only one thread glows, yours. You touch it. Life unspools in light. The childhood you bought, the first implant ceremony, the archive booth where you gave away a sunlit afternoon, the love replayed, the wound sealed, the market of stolen pasts, the rebellion of forgetting, the courtroom collapse, all of it here, waiting. You fall to your knees because it is beautiful and unbearable, because you see your whole life at once is to realize you're not whole, you're fragments, threads, a patchwork of memory and choice, and somehow that is enough. This is the last archive, a vault not of gold, but of every heartbeat ever lived. A monument to our terror of silence and our longing for permanence. But permanence, too, is fragile. And in this cathedral of everything, you must face the oldest question of all. If memory can be kept forever, what makes you, you? The final reckoning, the moment when the implant's hum falls silent, and you discover what remains when all remembering ends. Who are you without your memories? Stand very still. Let the hum recede. Let the archive soften to a distant shore. Listen for the sound beneath the sound, the one that has no file name. You are in a small room with no corners. The curator has left. The door looks like a light pretending to be a door. In your palm, a physical switch the size of a seed. A relic, they say, from the era when we believed meaning lived in levers. If you press it, your implant will drop to bare life. No auto recall, no predictive cues, no overlays, no archive tether. Just nervous system and breath. They call it nadir mode. Engineers call it a hazard. Monks call it a prayer. You press. First, the world dims. Not darker, just less annotated. Then your skull feels roomy, like a museum after closing. You wait for panic. It does not come. You're not erased. You're present. You lift your left hand. It knows how to do things no implant ever thought it. It finds the scar on your thumb from a door you shut too quickly at 12. It rests on your ribs when breath gets ragged. It tightens when you lie to yourself. This is not digital memory. This is procedural faith, a choreography your animal learned. You try a small experiment. Close your eyes, touch wood, Name it without calling a file. You can. Name the smell of dust after rain. You can. Name yourself. You try. Your name comes not as a word, but as a stance. How your shoulders carry weather. How you look at doors you don't trust. How you soften at the sound of distant laughter. Identity, it seems, is a posture the body keeps. You walk the room. Walls breathe slightly, as if the architecture is a friendly animal. Without overlays, shadows return to their ancient work, making mystery. The floor doesn't flush breadcrumbs. The air doesn't suggest a song. No memory knocks with helpful violence. You discover a hunger you did not know you must. Curiosity without a map. You kneel and put your ear to the ground like a child, listening for trains that aren't there. You laugh. The laugh is unsponsored. A story rises. No, arrives from nowhere sensible. Your grandmother you never met, shelling peas on a step you've never seen, hum singing a tune you know in your bones. You do not own this memory. You never downloaded it, but it inhabits you like weather. Perhaps some inheritances write blood, not fiber. Perhaps meaning is a river that does not ask for permission to cross you. Nadir mode does not keep the world out, it keeps you in. Memories uninvited still knock. A borrowed childhood with soft cake lights. A lover's first luck, bright as winter sun. The black market stall with a stolen festival in a sphere. But they have lost their power to dictate. They stand politely at the door like distant relatives. You nod. Some you invite for tea. Most you let pass down the hall and out into weather. Where do you end? You touch the wall, cool. You touch the chest, warm. You touch the air between, tingling with small electricity. Without the cloud, the perimeter is not a password. It is skin, oath, breath. You write a list in your head that no device can scrape. I'm the hand that steadies the cup when someone else shakes. I am the breath that lengthens when the room shortens. I am the sentence I say to frightened children. We can do hard things slowly. I am the silence I keep when gossip looks hungry. I am the laugh that refuses to hurt anyone on the way out. None of this is impressively unique. All of it is you. The light door shivers. The curator returns, voice like felt. Most last 5 minutes you've been here an hour. He smiled. Something in you is not surprised. They ask what you found. You search for language that isn't a product review. I found the version of me who doesn't need to prove that I exist. The curator nods, eyes kind. Will you keep nadir mode? You consider the markets, the codes, The clean minds, the ghosts, the gardens, the sealed graves, and the opened ones. Sometimes, you say, like Sabbath? Good, they answer. Sabbath is how worlds don't end. You lift the switch again. Power hum returns like a tide refinding shore. Overlays bloom, soft, differential. Permissions wait for your eyes before they ask. The world is annotated again, but something has shifted. You choose when to recall. You choose what to keep. You choose how to name. You choose who gets to say. You realize the future is not a choice between archive and amnesia. It is a craft, weaving, remembering, forgetting, until the fabric fits the weather. Before you leave the last archive, you kneel in a small chapel of no religion. There is no altar, only a table and a cup of water and a shard of mirror. You speak 3 vows, not to the device, not to the city, not to the law, but to the animal that has carried you this far. I will remember enough to be honest. I will forget enough to be free. I will love without needing proof. The vows don't store anywhere. That is the point. The day is over. The city quiets. Your implant hums softly in the dark, like a seashell pressed to your ear. And you ask yourself, what will you keep? What will you let go? Because in 2400, life is not just lived, it is curated, an endless museum of selves. And even museums must close their doors at night. You lie down. The implant asks gently, would you like to record your dreams tonight? You hesitate. Dreams have always been one place where memory dissolves, where the mind wanders unchanged. Now, even that is harvestable, downloadable, shareable. But maybe not tonight. Tonight, you let dreams stay wild. You let them drift, even where machines won't follow. And as you do, you realize something. There is power in what escapes the archive. There is magic in what refuses to be captured. Tomorrow, you may choose to recall everything. Tomorrow, you may scroll back through every kiss, every mistake, every laughter you borrowed, every grief you sealed. But tonight, you choose something else. You choose to close your eyes without proof. You chose to wake tomorrow with gaps. You choose to live not just as a fire, but as a flame. Because memory may be infinite, but meaning is made by what we forget. You wonder, when the servers fail, when the towers crumble, when even the last archive dissolves into dust, what will remain? Not the purchased childhoods, not the stolen joys, not the courtroom edits. What will remain are the moments that lived in breath, in bodies, in silence. The pebble in your pocket, the bread broken with strangers, the laugh that left no proof. These are the seeds memory implants cannot cage. These are the dreams that carry forward, generation to generation, without wires. So, dear traveler, as you drift now into your own night, ask yourself, would you accept the implant? Would you trade forgetting for permanence? Would you let your soul be etched into light? Or would you keep some of it in shadow? There is no right answer, only your answer. Leave your mark in the comments, because here in the small corner of the future, your choice still matters. The hum of your implant fades. The archive of dreams waits, vast and silent. But tonight, you are not its prisoner. You are its author. And as your eyelids grow heavy, you understand. Memories are not life. They are only echoes. What matters is the living, the breath, the heartbeat, the choice to open your eyes and see the world again tomorrow, fresh and unrecorded. So sleep now, traveler. Forget bravely, remember gently, and dream freely. Thank you for joining us on Dreams of Tomorrow. If you felt the weight of this journey, leave a symbol in the comments to let us know you're out there. Until next time, rest well and may your dreams be your own.